Well, 2014 sure seems to be the year of video game delays, doesn't it? I woke up this morning, I look on my phone like I normally do, scroll through Twitter, and what do I see? WWE 2K15 delayed until November 18th on Xbox One and PS4. And I was just overcome with sadness. I mean, as a wrestling fan, and if anyone listening to this is a wrestling fan, I'm sure you probably agree with me, I was very much looking forward to this game. And I still am looking forward to the game, don't get me wrong. So the delay was, an inconvenience because I know a lot of wrestling fans were looking forward to finally having a WWE game on, the new generation of console. But it does seem to be part of a bit of a growing trend in 2014, and that's game delays. So to give you some perspective on that, let's run through a quick list of just some of the games that were either delayed until later in 2014 or until 2015. Number 1, Batman Arkham Knight. Really? You're going to delay a Batman game and a wrestling game? Do you know who I am? I'm going to be very disappointed about that. Batman and wrestling, you can't take both of them away from me. It's bad enough taking one of them away from me. But it doesn't stop there. Assassin's Creed Unity, Far Cry 4, Evolve, Battlefield Hardline, GTA 5 on PC, The Order, Dying Light, and a handful of others that are probably escaping me right now. That's a pretty long list of games that have just been delayed within the past few months. Now, as a consumer, you and I, the people who buy the games, the way I look at it, and I think a lot of you will probably agree with me, is I would very much rather have a game that's complete and bug-free and, with as minimal flaws as possible. No game's going to be completely flawless. But I would rather have, a game that a little extra time was spent on than something that feels rushed. And like I said, I think a lot of you would probably agree with me on that. Yeah, it's an inconvenience to really anticipate these games and to want these games. I mean, I've been looking forward to the new Batman game, the new wrestling game, Assassin's Creed. Just about all the games I named are games that I'm still very much looking forward to playing. But now we have to wait, a little bit longer. So now the question turns to, well, why is this happening? Why is it just in 2014, just this span of a few months, that it seems like games are just getting delayed left and right and things are getting pushed back? Why now? Why this year? Well, I have a bit of a theory, if you'll indulge me for a second. There's a game that comes out every year in the same month, just about the same week, every time, every year, like clockwork, whether it's ready or not, it releases. That game is Call of Duty. There have been a few Call of Duty releases that were not ready for release when they got released, and that was pretty obvious upon playing them. So no matter what, year after year, whether the games are ready or not, it ships typically the first week of November. And there has been a lot of criticism over the past few years about that exact thing, about the fact that it releases like clockwork, whether it's ready or not. People feel the games are rushed, not enough time is put into them, but you know what? November rolls around, Call of Duty is out, whether it's ready or not. Now, another game that last year looked like it was starting to fall into that same line of release the game whether it's ready or not was Battlefield. Battlefield 4 was not ready for release when it was released. It was very rushed, very buggy, lots of people had issues with it, and it started to feel like it was about to fall into the same, pattern that Call of Duty has. But what does that have to do with this year, the delays in 2014? Well, here's what I think about that. I think developers have taken notice of that. I think developers realize that gamers, whether casual or hardcore, or anybody that just enjoys video games, would much rather play a game that works properly, that feels right, that is fun and enjoyable, and doesn't have any bugs or issues, rather than playing a game just because it comes out on a specific date. You know what I mean? And I think finally, this year, developers are starting to realize that. And they're saying, you know what? I know we said that we were going to release it on this day, but look what happened to Battlefield. Look what happens to Call of Duty when it's not ready. Look what happens to all these games that are released before they're ready, and the fan feedback 9 times out of 10 is terrible. So, maybe it's wishful thinking. Maybe it's just me hoping that developers are starting to realize that. But I don't know. Given the evidence here, given the fact that so many games have been delayed, all within just a few months of each other, I think, honestly, when all is said and done, I think that's a very, very good thing. Now, of course, delays can have a lot of downsides. People can lose a lot of money. Advertising needs to change. All these different campaigns with the original date on it now have to be switched around. Like, it can cost a lot of money, and there are downsides to it. But the upside is the product that's released is a product that the developers can actually stand behind and be proud of. And that gamers are actually, excited to play because it works the way that it should right out of the box. So while I'm very much looking forward to games like 2K15, and Batman Arkham Knight, and Assassin's Creed Unity, and Far Cry 4, and Battlefield Hardline, etc., I would much rather play those games at their best than play, a rushed beta release of the game that does nothing but disappoint the fans. So, to wrap it up, Too Long Didn't Listen. A lot of games were delayed in 2014. It's not a bad thing because I think developers are finally realizing that it's better to release a good game than a shitty game. Bottom line. Now, on top of that, real quick, one of the things that I like to do when I do one of these kind of commentaries is kind of give both sides of it. I know there are people that are disappointed with the delays and don't want there to be any delays and believe that developers should stick to their original dates because, that's what they said. That's when they said they were going to release it and they should stick to that. I'm sure there are people who feel that way, and it's their prerogative to feel like that. They have their opinion just like I have mine. But real quick, listen to this short list of games that were delayed before they were released. Just a very short list. 3 games. Team Fortress 2, Half-Life 2, Red Dead Redemption. 3 of the most world-renowned video games to ever release. And they were delayed before they got released. So if you think game delays are a bad thing, hopefully that changes your mind a bit. So that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you, as always, for watching. Be sure to leave a like on this video before you leave and subscribe right now for much more gaming entertainment. I'm the Dank, and I'll see you soon.